Welcome to the MLG Spring Championship, Kespa Starcraft2 qualifiers. This is Group C, and we're going to be watching the semifinals. This is, of course, the second set from the semifinals. This is also going to be cast by me, Whiplash, with Supernova Maniac. So let's go ahead and introduce our players. In the bottom right-hand position, he is spawning in the blue. Protoss player from STX Seoul, his name is Deer.
His opponent is from STX Seoul, as Red Zerg, spawning in the 11 o'clock, top left-hand position. His name is hyvaa.
Of course, the map, Akilon Wastes, and we've seen Deer play some Zergs on this map previously, earlier on in the tournament. In the round of 8, he was able to defeat Solar 2-0, and one of the games he played was on this map. Did pretty good against the attempted Sky Toss style from Solar.
You mean Sky Zerg?
Yeah, Sky Zerg. I'm so used to saying Sky Toss that, and it also rolls off the tongue very nicely.
Yeah,
Sky Toss.
It's okay. When Sky Toss first came out, we said Sky Terran 24/7.
Yeah, because that's originally what was the kind of the first.
What was so popular?
Yeah, Sky quote-unquote composition.
Now they're doing the same thing once again in this PvZ matchup against hyvaa. Because he is up 1-0 against his opponent, he's just trying to play safe as possible.
Yeah, I'm going for the early scout. Common from Deer, and I love it, man. I already said that, but I love it, man. I like how Deer plays. He's a very smart player. Oh
yeah, definitely. I mean, remember when Heart of the Swarm first came out and people were trying to ladder, people were trying to stream, and who was the player? Hyun. He was streaming, and apparently the player that he was facing against on ladder, the Protoss player who was trying to cannon up a lot and go for massive amount of Tempest, was Deer. Yeah. I actually had the pleasure of playing Hyun once on ladder early on when Heart of the Swarm came out, and I'm like, wait, they're facing me against GM players. This is not fair at all. You should have went Tempest, man.
He went for a 2-base Swarm Host, Spore Crawler, Creep, push near my natural, and it wasn't pleasant, man. It was brutal. It was brutal. I lost pretty bad, but it was still fun to get to play against him. And I actually met him, ironically, on a subway in Seoul a few weeks before that. Yeah, with some of the other Korean casters out here. Or foreign casters in Korea. Yeah. I do hang out with some of the Korean casters as well.
That was back then when we didn't know any Korean casters, however.
Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, small world, I guess, as far as Seoul works. It's a small area, even though there's like, what, 20 million people here?
There's a lot of people in Seoul, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. So Deer, he's just opening up with the standard Fortress Span build. Getting his Nexus, is getting his cannon up now. And we see hyvaa going for the double hatch opening. Very common here. Everything is so standard as far as build openers go in this game.
Yeah, so I'm still wondering how game number 1, I'm pretty sure it was just a long macro game between the two players to a point where they just said, you know what, I can still take out my opponent in a macro game. That's what hyvaa's probably saying if it was. And also, they're saying the same thing, well, my defense for my opponent was fantastic, even if I won the game, so I still have to play the solid macro game that I'm used to, and just defeat hyvaa in a long macro game.
If we look at hyvaa as a player, he does like to all-in occasionally against his opponents. That's something to point out here, so definitely could have been a potential open from hyvaa in the last game, or maybe we could see that this game from him. Of course, so far he hasn't really done anything like that. He is getting his gas, though, a little bit earlier than we've seen other Zerg players like Solar, for instance, get the gas.
So we're going to have to see how that gas is used from hyvaa, but still that's only 40 gas in the bank, so we're going to have to wait until C and see what hyvaa is going to go for.
Yeah. Only time will tell.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, here's a Stargate from their same exact positioning as the last game.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you watch a player play against different players in a row. You kind of get to see his habits develop and his style develop. And you know, if you're an opponent studying a player like Deer, you can use that to your advantage a lot of the time. And that's why, you know, a lot of these teams, they try to be really secretive about their IDs and the replays, and not letting them get out into the public.
Oh, you never... That was a huge controversy when some practice partners released tons of replays from the practice houses.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
And the foreign scene, it's a lot more common to show off your replays.
Oh, yeah.
But the Koreans, they definitely like to be private about it.
Pro zealot.
Yeah. All right.
Really pro zealot, but Deer, he's pretty much fortified in this position. He has a sentry out. He's getting Phoenixes behind us. So, like we saw from the previous VOD between Deer and Solar, he's just trying to play as safe as possible.
I love this, man. He gets the Zealot early on. He gets a Sentry to wall off here. And look at that. He has the probe on hold position in that little choke there. It's a bit off, and I think the Zerglings can run by, but I mean, I like what he's doing regardless here, because he wants to use these sentries to kind of eventually kill off the rocks here and take that third base. But everything from Deer's play just kind of oozes the ideals of being solid and being safe, but not overly too safe to the point where it hurts you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, 3 additional gateways going down by Deer as Iva. Also making score calls inside the main base. He is making 3, 1 in each base. I'm not too sure if that's a safe style against someone like Deer, who has fantastic Phoenix Micro and kill a lot of things away from the score calls. Okay, there we go, making more. I like this from Iva.
Getting the 6 Spore Crawlers total, 3 in each base, or excuse me, 2 in each base, is a great way to deal with the Phoenix harass. And occasionally, this Phoenix can get a drone or 2 here and there, but overall, it's a lot harder to harass with them. So that's why we started to see the Zerg players get 2 Spore Crawlers over 1.
And behind this, Hiva is going for the pure Hydra competition, as we don't see any Roach roaring out from our Zerg player.
Yeah, this is a really common style that actually, I think Zero is one of the first players to showcase this towards the end of Wings of Liberty, where the Zerg player would go Ling, Hydra, and then transition into Mutas. And in Heart of the Swarm, I think it's even better because you can get the Hydra speed upgrade, which makes them a lot more viable, especially in this matchup.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you never saw Hydras except in ZVC back in Wings of Liberty. Now we see sometimes Hydras in ZVT matchups, especially famous from CJ Entis players who tries to go for the Hydra Roach style.
Yeah.
And in PvZ, Hydras are essential. Yes, they do get ripped apart by the Colossus over there, but that's only 3 Hydras over there. Those Phoenix is gonna pick up 1, 2, and possibly a third one.
Maybe they're very smart from Hiva. He has that Hydra in the whole position there. The Zerglings trying to delay the third, but they're going to be scared away here. Oh, excellent force field usage from Deer as well. He wants to get the most bang for his buck out of these units here in the positioning he's in. A single Ling left, and
Gonna get taken out.
Yeah. All right, well, behind this, looking at the tech choices for both players. Oh, nice. Hiva getting a few Lings actually into the main base there. Trying to run around to the natural. They may be able to pick up a few workers here, but probes off the mineral line, and looks like those Zerglings were weak on health because they fell pretty fast. We do have additional Hydras being constructed here from Hiva, and he's also going to complete his Spire now as well. They're going to take a 4th base behind this as Deer grabs his 3rd. Now, the Phoenix are still out, but we could see a potential Mutatech switch here from Deer, but I think that's only going to happen if Hiva can pick off at least a couple of these Phoenix. Otherwise, it's just too risky.
In fact, even Hiva saw the Colossus coming out from his opponents, so he needs to make sure those Phoenixes are cut and then start making Mutas behind it. If he goes for the Mutas right now, you saw in the previous game, man, once Solar went for the Mutas, Deer got a critical number of Phoenixes and just countered it right away. So it's better for him to make Corruptors first.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing.
Get the unit that can counter Phoenix and Colossus at the same time.
Yeah. One thing I do like about Hiva's play here is that he is actually going for a very heavy macro style. Getting that additional expansion up and in an interesting location, but the Phoenix will scout it. We also have the Infestation Pit on the way, so Hiva may be looking to get to that Hive tech pretty fast here. Maybe go for some fast Vipers, and he's also getting the +1 fire attack upgrade as well as the +2 range attack. So overall, Hiva looking like he's in a pretty solid position here, but Deer is certainly not behind it all himself.
And also, you said that was a little weird location, but thinking about the late game, like you said about Hiva, this is a fantastic choice because the pocket expansion right next to the main base is so easy to take for all of these players out here. Yeah. So it's easier, so it's going to be harder for Hiva to fortify this position right now, yes. But if he does so, then he's going to be much better in the late game because he could take a 5th base so easily right away.
We have the Swarm hosts now in production for a Hiva. I like that, man. He's really gearing towards the late game, and that's kind of been mirrored in his unit composition and build order throughout the entire process here. We do have Deer going for the Colossus tech. He's getting a 2nd Robo up, so we're going to go up the double Robo from Deer. He's also going to complete his +2 attack in the blink around the same time, and I wouldn't be surprised if Deer went ahead and grabbed a 4th base within the next minute or so.
No, yeah, definitely. As a Protoss player who's in such a position where the Zerg player took a 4th base, a little miss micro with the probes over there. But yeah, Deer, he should take a 4th base pretty soon, knowing that Hiva is not going to push out anytime soon.
Deer doing some nice job here, harassing off a few of these units. The Corruptor's going to scare away the Phoenix, though. And yeah, they won't be able to finish off that Queen. The Phoenixes are actually going to end up falling here. There's only one left, and one Phoenix generally not too useful.
Yeah, well, if you look at the gas count right now, he only has 400 gas, which means that there's not going to be any tech switch from our Zerg player Hiva, as he's just going to stick to the solid, Swarmhost, Corruptor composition. It's also crucial for Hiva to start making a lot of drones right now and start turning them into Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers later into the game.
All right, he looks like Hiva's going for the +1 armor upgrade now. The +2 just completed on his ranged units. The Swarm Host Locust upgrade about to complete as well here, and we got Hive on the way. We have Infestors, both players getting a lot of their high-end tech charge. Warp Prism speed. That's an interesting upgrade here that we're going to see from Deer. He may opt to do a lot of aggressive harassment later on in the game, and that's a great way to deal with the Swarm Hosts.
In fact, think about this. Right now, Hiva is dumping all of his money into Swarm Hosts. He does have a few Hydras that can defend against the Warp Prism, but he is so focused on fortifying that left position because he's expanding aggressively. That's the reason why Warp Prism is a fantastic choice. It's going to put Hiva out of position, and he needs to start making units that aren't Swarm Hosts or Corruptors to defend against the Warp Prism drop inside the main base.
Yeah, the Zealots trying to do some damage here, but I mean, there's already a lot of Spine Crawlers here.
That's a nice bait because we do have the Warp Prism going inside the 4th base right now and going inside the natural.
They're trying to dart away from the Corruptors here. And, all right, looks like the Zealots are going to pop in here and try to do a little bit of damage. They may actually pick off the Queen. That's going to go ahead and do a merry-go-round around the base. So we could see the Zealots just go to town on some of these units. 2 Swarm Hosts popping from that Hive there, and that's going to allow them to defend against those Zealots there. At the same time, Deer pressing forward near the middle of the map, putting down some force fields to kind of stay away from those Locusts, but not going to work out.
Yeah, in fact, I'm not sure why he actually used the force fields. He could have just outrun the Locusts right away. We do have the high finish up for Hiva as he's getting additional upgrades. Plus, is that +1 melee?
Yeah, +1 melee
on the way since he wants to transition into Zerglings. Adrenaline Glands also out on the way with +2 air upgrades.
Yeah, upgrades all over the place. Pretty much the entire game from both players. Also, Storm going to be added into Deer's army composition, and he is starting to cannon up that 4th base. I'd like to see Deer go for a 5th base pretty soon here because, from the look of things, we're going to be in a split map scenario. But
we have a massive Warp Prism drum inside the main base, and this is what I was talking about. He still needs to keep the Hydras alive and well because he doesn't know when the Warp Prism is going to go inside the main base. Also, I like to see Hiva take a 5th base right now. The pocket expansion is so easy to take from Hiva's side. It's pretty much a free expansion over there, and he's going to get up to 10 gases, no problem.
Yeah, if you're on 10 gas as a Zerg player, you're just going to be really happy about that because you can afford all the tech you want. It's kind of like a Protoss on 3 bases, but look at Protoss player Deer here. He's got +3 attack, +1 armor. Storm in the army has got a good amount of Colossus here, up to 6 actually. That's a really high amount.
And Swarmhost located because the Swarmhost needs to fortify this position. This is looking so strong from Deer right now.
Actually, this army composition is going to render the Swarm Hosts closely useless here, and unless the Corruptors can do a really good job here at picking off the Colossus. But this army composition from Deer is perfect for this timing in the game before too many Hive units are in play, like the Ultras or the Broodlords. It can deal well with the Corruptors just due to the sheer number of Colossus there, and the Stalkers with the Storms doing a great job. These Corruptors here now falling, forced to retreat, and the Hive is going to lose his 4th base here.
Yeah, actually he was supposed to use his Swarmhost to make sure his opponent does not push far ahead and actually get ready just in time to defend against what Deer has, but the Swarmhost was positioned way too in the back. The wall didn't do anything as the Hydras and the Infestors did not cover the Stalkers really well, and Hiva just lost a 4th base. He doesn't have a 5th base in the pocket expansion either.
I'm actually like so impressed with Deer's play right now. I'm realizing the brilliance of the timing. He understands how to fight against this turtle style perfectly, man. Before the Hive units come out too fast, he gets the perfect army composition. He gets that +3 and he attacks. And you know what? These Zerglings are going to melt to the Storms and the Colossus. The Colossus are going to end up falling here, but these Corruptors, they are so low on health, and there's pretty much nothing else really to deal with this, but Deer may be actually overcommitting a little bit too much here. He's got to be very careful against these units. There's no Storms left. From the looks of things in this army composition, no Colossus left, and Deer will end up retreating.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter because remember, Hyvaa, he doesn't have a fort base behind us, which means that his economy is crippled. He's trying to take a fort base in the left bottom position once again, but Deer is looking to take a 5th expansion behind us.
Yeah, if the Protoss player is ahead of the Zerg in bases, it generally means the Zerg player is in kind of a desperate position here. Now, you know, if you can get a few Broodlords in the army, I think that'd be a really good choice for him, due to just the high number of Corruptors and the lack of Colossus now from Deer, because, you know, we could see Deer go into a very charged lot Archon heavy composition here.
Yeah, but still right now it seems like he's going to go for the classic Wings of Liberty style composition, as we have 15 Stalkers out, 8 Templars, and we do have 2 Colossus being made at the same time.
Yeah, so a pretty scary composition here. Mini Warpin from Deer, just a single Zealot. Gonna delay that expansion for a little bit, but it will go up now from Hyvaa. Warp Prism gonna try the move into the main, maybe potentially even the natural here. He wants to warp in some units. He doesn't have a lot of resources, though. That's something to point out here for Deer compared to Hyvaa, where Hyvaa still, despite losing one of his expansions, has a lot of an economy. But, oh, actually Deer gonna force a cancel on this expansion. Very nice.
Hyvaa would have been in a much better position if he had the fort base up there a long time ago. He was forced to make a lot of Zerglings behind us, and those Zerglings, let's be honest, they're going to be useless against the Storms and the Colossus that Deer has right now.
Yeah. Actually, Deer, he's getting Void Rays right now up to 4. So it looks like that's going to be the army composition tech switch from him. Going to go into more of a Sky Toss style, or Void Ray Colossus with Storm support. And, you know, 8 Templar in this army from Deer, man.
Hold on. We have 13 Broodlords coming out right now.
Uh-oh. This could actually be really bad for
For a
Deer.
second, Hyvaa had tons of gas and it just disappeared. So I told myself, where did the gas go? And now we realize what's happening. Those Broodlords are just slowly moving down on the map. If Deer can defend against the 13 Broodlords that Hyvaa has right now, then he's going to win the game, no problem. But this is really scary looking army from our Zerg player, Hyvaa.
Well, to Deer's credit, he does have a good amount of Void Rays out now.
Yes,
he's up to 8, and if you have more Void Rays or even a close amount to the Corruptor count, which is 5, then the Void Rays will eventually eat up all of the Corruptors there, and they're going to also be able to pick off the Broodlords. Storms go down as well. There's a nice fungal, but the Storms are hitting absolutely every single Zerg unit here. Broodlords probably down to half energy, and the Corruptors are getting obliterated here.
No anti-air!
The Void Rays, they need the focus fire on the Broodlords. That's what they're doing now, and that's going to force Hyvaa to retreat.
Doesn't even matter here because there's no anti-air from Hyvaa. Yes, the fungal is going to delay the Void Rays from eating apart on the Broodlords, but eventually Deer is going to eat apart on every single Broodlord that Hyvaa has right now.
Yeah, the few queens out here using Transfuse is not going to matter. These Void Rays have pretty good upgrades as well, and you can just see how fast they're shredding through the Broodlords. A really big investment from Hyvaa. It doesn't end up paying off for him. He doesn't even manage to kill off most of the Colossus there. There's still 4 out. And, I don't know, just things are not looking amazing for Hyvaa right now, as we see the supplies are 170 to 106.
Yeah, Void Rays are quite good against Broodlords, as these Void Rays and Colossus are just ripping apart on the Swarmos, and I don't see how Hyvaa can come back into this game. Look at the supply between the 2 players. 184 to 78 of Hyvaa. He's only making Zerglings behind us. GG. So that was the second match between Deer and Hyvaa. Deer does defeat Hyvaa 2-0 to advance into finals, while Zhongbi takes out Bisu 2-0.
So we're going to be seeing a Zhongbi Deer finals for Group of C. The winner of this match will go travel to MLG Anaheim June 28th through 30th.